What's good, everyone? This is day one of my devlog series. I'm gonna try to learn Roblox Studio with you guys and learn how to script. Currently, today, I'm gonna watch the Brawl Dev beginner series and I'm gonna try my best to go as far as possible. I've watched the series about 3 times so far, not like fully, but and I've given up like multiple times. The farthest I've ever gone was, I think, episode 12, which is breaks, and I've never went farther than that. And yeah, so my goal is to actually learn how to script and to actually become a good scripter and make good games. So yeah, let's start.
Young little Noober doesn't know anything about game development, but wants to make his favorite games on the Roblox platform. He reads up on the Roblox documentation to learn how to make a game until he hits a roadblock trying to figure out what the heck a script is and how a game comes together. And as a result of that, he quits on day one and probably doesn't have a computer anymore after destroying it out of frustration, and now he can't pursue making the games he's always wanted to make. Oh, Noobert, becoming a Roblox game developer doesn't happen overnight. You'll especially have to put in the time, put in the effort, and face the struggles head on when you don't understand a concept, especially in the world of scripting and programming. In the beginning, it can be very difficult and demotivating to continuously learn how to become a better Roblox scripter when you keep getting faced with error messages and unintended effects in your game. It's a real struggle most beginners face when learning how to script on Roblox, which is why I want to make this playlist to help you reach your goals of making the games that you want to create on Roblox. My name is Brawldev, and I will be teaching you everything you need to know to become a great Roblox scripter. I've been scripting on Roblox for about 7 to 8 years, and during this time, I've made countless projects that just weren't successful. But one thing that kept me going throughout all these years was the desire to learn more and actually have an interest in the things I was learning. Even if I faced challenges when learning new things, especially during times when I was demotivated. And I hope you can adopt this secret strategy to go through this journey of becoming a Roblox game developer. As of recording this video, I have 2 playlists ready for you to watch once you finish this beginner's guide, the advanced scripting tutorial guide and the GUI tutorial guide. It's quite a scary journey to go through all these episodes considering how many there are now, but like I mentioned, becoming a Roblox game developer isn't easy. And so I would like to make the journey easier for you by having everything you need to know in these playlists, ranging from the very basics to the advanced concepts, and accelerate you to become a pro Roblox scripter and game developer in 2024. And with that being said, let's now go ahead and start making games on Roblox. Alright, so what you see here is the homepage of the software called Roblox Studio. Now, this is the software we're going to be using to create our Roblox games so that we can upload them to the Roblox website and so players can actually play your game that's uploaded to Roblox.
I forgot to mention that I pretty much, so I've watched this series like about 3 times, but I pretty much don't remember anything, I'm gonna be honest. I only remember how to print, and I remember a little bit about functions, a little bit, like, but besides that, I don't really like remember too much. And like, yeah, so most of the stuff will be like new to me, I guess. Yeah, but I hope I could finally like finish the tutorial and actually learn how to script. So yeah,
The link to this in the description if you want to download Roblox Studio so that you can log in with your account and then you can be greeted with this same exact home screen just like you're seeing in this video. Now, before we do anything, I encourage you to basically follow exactly what I do step by step so that you can kind of get a feel for how to use Roblox Studio and you're experiencing what I'm teaching you while you follow through with these videos, because just watching me go through these tutorial videos isn't going to be enough to help you learn. So that's why I encourage you to literally do exactly what I do as you watch these videos to follow along and learn from doing it yourself as well. So now that we've gotten that out of the way, once we are here inside of this home screen, Roblox has a bunch of templates that we can choose from as a starter place to start making our Roblox games. For the purpose of this tutorial guide, we're going to use this base plate template right here. I'm just going to click on this, and then what's going to happen is Roblox is going to load in this template that we just selected, and now we are thrown into this world that we can now mess around with to create our Roblox game and upload it onto the platform. Now, there are a couple of things here that I want to introduce to you so that you get a feel for how Roblox Studio works, because that's our goal for this first episode. It's to familiarize ourselves with using Roblox Studio and some of the things that they have to offer. And the first thing I want to show you is being able to navigate around this 3D world that you see right here that represents our Roblox game. So I want you to imagine you're playing Roblox on...
Okay, let me make a world as well for this. Let's see. A new one. I'm pretty familiar with Roblox Studio. Like, I know how to move around and stuff. I know how to like make parts and everything, but I don't really have like the Roblox like dev skills, so which I'm trying to learn. So yeah. Okay, so let's create this place. Save to Roblox Studio. Let's call this, what should I name this? Any ideas? Why am I asking you guys? Let's see. I'll just name this my scripting journey. Okay, let's go. Okay, we got it. Oh. It's reopening. It's reopening. Okay.
On PC. The controls you'd probably use are W, A, S, and D for the keys, and also the mouse as well. So it kind of works the same way here as well. So if we hold W, that's going to move our camera forward. If we hold S, that's going to move our camera backwards.
I don't really have to
A, that's going to go left, and then D, that's going to go right. And if we want to move the camera specifically, then what we can do is hold the right mouse button and then drag our mouse around the world so that we can change our camera to face a certain direction. And we can combine these movements together so that we're able to move around Studio as we so desire to. Some other things we can do is hold Q to make our camera go down, and then hold E to make our camera go up, and we can even use the scrolling wheel to scroll outward and also scroll inward as well. So these are some basic movement controls that I will introduce to you for this episode, and maybe go through some more later down the line, but that's like the basics of being able to move around inside of Roblox Studio. So now there are some windows that I want to show you that are going to be very important for the entirety of this tutorial guide. The first one is this Roblox Studio ribbon up here that basically shows all of the resources and services that they have provided to us so that we can use them for our Roblox game. So right now we're in the home category, so if we select a different tab like model, then it's going to show us a bunch of different things here that we can use. And if we go to avatar, it's going to show some different stuff. Test, view, plugins, and all of these other sorts of things that are going to be very helpful for us. Now, another window that's extremely important to understand is what's called the Explorer, as you can see right here on the right side. You can see that there's all of these different folders inside of here with different names, and I'm going to try and give a brief explanation as to what this all means. Well, to basically summarize what the Explorer is, it's basically a directory full of folders that have its own specific purposes, where you combine all of them together to make up one Roblox game. So every single Roblox game you can think of basically has this structure right here with all of these different folders with different purposes that you will need to learn how to use as a Roblox game developer. So one of the ones, as an example, is called Workspace. Workspace is what basically shows us the entire 3D world, and this is how we're able to render things inside of this game screen. It's when we put objects inside this Workspace folder. Now, if we were to open up this Workspace folder, so if we click on this arrow that's to the left of it, then we can see that there's actually stuff contained within this Workspace folder. So we have the camera, terrain, spawn location, base plane, things like that. And if we open these up, we can see that there's other stuff in here contained within the thing that's within the Workspace. So you can kind of see that there's this hierarchy structure going on with this Workspace. And it's very important to understand the structure when you're working with finding stuff within your game. And so it's a really good practice to understand how this structure works. Now, if I were to select one of these objects, like let's say the Workspace, we can see that down here, it showed a bunch of things in this other window called Properties. Now, this is the next window that is going to be extremely important to understand. So basically what this window does is it shows all of the properties, the attributes, the settings, or configurations, whatever you want to describe it as, for the object that we selected. So what we selected is this Workspace object, and there's all these properties here that are associated with that object that we can actually change ourselves. And if we select a different object, like let's say the spawn location, it's going to show different properties for this spawn location object, and we can actually change it and see the change in real time inside of our game. So if we were to, let's say, change the color, let's say, so if I click on the color, then it's going to show us this color wheel right here that we can just pick whichever color we want. So if I were to, let's say, pick this color and I hit OK, then it's going to change the color in real time, and we can actually see this change inside Roblox Studio. So that's kind of a cool thing to know about when it comes to understanding the properties window and also the Explorer window, and how both of them work together to basically have stuff inside of our workspace. And now the next thing I want to demonstrate is being able to add parts inside of the game. So I'm actually going to deselect the spawn location by simply selecting anywhere inside this world, just just like that. And what I'm going to do is go on the top ribbon and click on this part button that's inside of the insert category. So I'm going to click this, and as you can see, Roblox has inserted a part for us to use, and what I can do is take this part, hold left click, and drag it wherever I want to put it inside of the workspace. Now, there are other tools that I want to introduce to you that you might find extremely helpful. So we're able to select this and move it around, and this is what's called the select tool, as you can see up here on the screen. The next tool is called move. So if we select this, then we can see these arrows that are surrounding this part. So if we hold this blue arrow and then move it this way, then it's going to move the part in this specific direction. And we can do the same thing for the red arrow, and we can do the same thing for the green arrow as well. Another thing we can do is change the size of this part by clicking on this scale tool. So if we scale this part this way, then it's going to move it in this direction. And the last tool is the rotate tool. So if we select this, then we can see that this basically resembles a bunch of circles. We select whichever circle we want, and then we move it in that direction specifically. So I'm kind of just moving this part around a little bit, and that is basically how you use the rotate part. Now, once again, I want to deselect this, so I'm just going to click elsewhere like this. And now we have a part that basically just does absolutely nothing. But what I wanted to get at here was getting the feel and practice for moving around Roblox Studio and also adding parts into the game. So that's basically the introduction to using Roblox Studio. Now, at the end of every single video for this playlist, what I want to do is give you a learning objective or a challenge to assess what you learned inside of each video. Now, for this learning objective, what I want you to do is basically just continue to experiment with Roblox Studio, either by moving around inside the workspace or by adding more parts like this. So I'm actually going to go up here and I'm going to insert another part, and we can do whatever we want with it by changing the brick color, changing the size if we select the scale tool just like this, and things like that. You can even navigate through more settings over here, and that's another great way of familiarizing yourself with Roblox Studio. And once you are done with this learning objective, I want you to go down to the comments of this video and describe what you did for this learning objective so that other people who watch this tutorial can see what other people have been doing, and I think it would just be a really great way to show what everybody else is doing for these challenges. Now, before we end off this video, there's one final thing I forgot to mention, and that is the importance of saving your work so that you don't lose your progress. So what we can do is go on the top left here in File, and we're going to click Save to File As, and it's going to show up our file directory right here, and you can just pick wherever you want to save this Roblox Studio place in. So I'm just going to pick this place. You can even rename it to whatever you want to. I'm just going to say Beginner Scripting Guide 2024, just like that, and I'm going to hit Enter, and there we go. Now our place is saved. And I encourage you to save your game very frequently so that you don't lose progress as you go through this tutorial guide. So that's pretty much going to be it for this episode, and I will see you in the next episode. Take care.
Okay. So basically, he experimented with parts and stuff, and he just moved them around and stuff. So let's just do this to get familiar with it. So I made a part, and let's make this into a cube. Let's see, a cube. You can even change the colors and the properties. Let's see, let's turn it into like blue. Okay. Damn. Okay. Okay. And it even says here dark blue. That's the color. And he pretty much just messed around with the tools. Move is like you can move it everywhere. Up, sideways. Up. Anyway, let me move it back here. You could even just pick it up, bro. At this point, move it like that. Yeah, you could even oh, whoa, what did I do? Oh, okay. You could rotate. I don't know what this transform thing is. I've never seen this before, but I'm just gonna leave that alone for now. And you can even like rotate it. You could turn it like this way. Yeah. And let's just make another part and make this one a little bit longer. Let's see. Change the color to gray. Yeah. Okay. That's nice. Let's go on the next video. I think we got this one down.
Welcome back to my Roblox beginner scripting tutorial guide. My name is Braldev, and in this episode we'll be discussing about printing. So in the last episode, we covered the basics of navigating around Roblox Studio and what Roblox Studio has to offer for us that's going to be important for this entire tutorial guide. So for things like moving around inside Roblox Studio, also showing you the services that Roblox has to offer.
I've watched this video before, and I pretty much know how to do it, how to print. But I'll still watch it because
offer for us the Explorer panel and also the Properties panel that we're going to be using throughout this entire tutorial guide. Now that we have that understanding, for the rest of this tutorial guide, I'm going to be introducing to you concepts relating to scripting. Now, to basically explain what scripting is, it's an aspect of game development that allows you to add functionality to your games that you're creating on Roblox. So the other aspects of game development are things like building, like we just did right here, maybe even things like modeling and also standing. For the rest of this tutorial guide, I'm going to be introducing to you concepts relating to scripting. Now, to basically explain what scripting is, it's an aspect of game development that allows you to add functionality to your games that you're creating on Roblox. So the other aspects of game development are things like building, like we just did right here, maybe even things like modeling and also UI designing and all of these other sorts of things. Scripting is a component of game development that allows you to add functionality to your game. An example I can think of this is this spawn location right here. So making the spawn location itself requires building, but actually making it functional requires scripting. So if my character were to join into the game, then we need to tell Roblox that we need to spawn on this spawn location, and if our character dies, then we need to respawn back onto this spawn location. That is what adds functionality to the spawn location rather than it just being some random part inside of the game. So that requires scripting to be able to essentially tell Roblox that we want this spawn location to function the way it is because of it. And we add functionality through scripts. Now, to explain what a script is, it's basically a document or a piece of paper that has a list of instructions or commands that basically tells Roblox to execute these commands when we join into the game or when a specific thing happens inside of the game. And so when we write these
I'll keep this. I need to keep this on one so I can.
scripts, it's very important for us to write it in a very specific way so that Roblox can read these commands and they can interpret it so that they can understand it, finally execute them inside of our game. Because this is one of the biggest things new developers get confused with, and that is being able to get the syntax down, like understanding the rules and guidelines when it comes to writing these commands, because they fall under a programming language called Lua or Lua U, for Roblox. And so when we understand this language, then we're able to write commands effectively and tell Roblox to execute certain commands within our scripts. So let's actually create our first script, and we're going to be adding this inside of the Explorer. And there's two places that are popular for scripts. The first one is the workspace, and the second one is the server script service. But for this episode, we're going to add a script inside of workspace. And there's a couple of ways you can add objects inside of a folder. One way is to hit this plus sign that's next to workspace. So I'm going to click on this, and there should be a list full of all of these objects that we can put inside of this folder. So what I'm going to do is say script inside of the search bar, and there's 3 scripts. But for the sake of this tutorial, we're just going to be using the normal script. So I'm just going to click on this.
Okay.
And now we have inserted a script inside of our workspace. And you might have also noticed that our screen has changed to be inside of this
Let's add script. Here's script. Okay.
script editor. And we can revert back to the game if we want to by hitting down this tab right here. So we are now back into the normal game. And if we want to go back into the script, then we just simply click on the script so that we can pull up the script editor again. And when we open up the script for the first time, Roblox is going to add a default command here that simply just says print hello world. Now, it might be a little hard to read for you, so what I want you to do is hit Control and then move the mouse scroll wheel inward so that you can zoom in. But I'm already zoomed in pretty well, so if you need to do that, then you can do that very quickly. So for this first scripting episode, what I'm going to show you how to do is write these print statements. Now, what is a print statement? A print statement is basically a command that allows us to write a message to an output window so that we can see it when we run the game. Now, in order to know where this output window is, what we need to do is go back into the game, hit on the View tab, and we're going to click on this button that says Output. So if we click on this, then we can see this window down here that shows our print statements and also our logs as well. That's the whole point of the output window. It's so that we can see whatever we put inside of here show up down here when we join into the game. So if we go into the game, we can actually test this out for ourselves. The way we do that is by hitting on this test tab up here, and then we click on this button that says play. So if we click that is by if we go into the game, we can actually test this out for ourselves. The way we do that is by hitting on this test tab up here, and then we click on this button that says play. So
okay, I need to see if my output's open. So output, yeah.
if we click on this, then what's going to happen is, first of all, our character actually loads into the game, and we can play this game normally as if this was a Roblox game. But also down here, we can see in the output, it says hello world, which was our message. And we can actually click on the script that executed this command, and it's going to show us the script and also the line of where our print message executed. So this print statement is basically a print command that tells Roblox that we want to print this message down here inside of this output so that we can see it for ourselves. And we can write our own print statements as well, rather than having Roblox's default print message right over here. So what we can do is actually delete this print statement so that we can write our own print statement. So what I'm going to do is hold down the backspace so that it basically deletes all the lines of code that was over here. So we're on line number 1, and now let's add in our first print statement. Now, one quick thing I want to mention is that when we are writing our scripts, it's very case sensitive, and what that means is you have to be very specific with how you write stuff inside of the script. So some things can be uppercase, some things can be lowercase, and it's very important that we understand when it is uppercase and when it's lowercase. So now let's write our print statement. We're simply going to say in all lowercase, we're going to say print, P-R-I-N-T, and then what we're going to do is type the open parentheses. So we're going to press Shift 9, and then we're also going to put in the double quotations. So we're going to say Shift apostrophe, and so now we can write whatever message we want inside of these quotations. So we can say something as simple as hello, just like this.
Okay. Print captions or whatever is hello.
With an exclamation mark. And there we go. This is our very first print statement that we have going on right over here. We can test this by going into the game and hitting play. So as we can see in the output, it indeed printed our message with hello. Now,
Yo, actually worked. Wait, wow.
Now, I forgot to mention really quickly that when we're playing the game inside of Roblox Studio, like we hit play, in order for us to stop playtesting, we go up here and then just simply hit the stop button. I forgot to mention this because I do it out of instinct, so I apologize about that. So what we're going to do is hit stop, and now we are back into Roblox Studio. So now let's go back to our script, and we can actually add more print statements on top of this print statement. So what we're going to do is drop a line by hitting enter, and as you can see, we are now on line number 2. So we can write our print statement just like we did the first time by saying print, open parentheses, and we're going to say double quotations. And we can continue what we were saying before by saying, how are you doing? Question mark, just like this. So now we have 2 print statements. If we go into the game and hit play, then what we should see in the output is
Okay.
two of our print statements instead of just one. So it's going to start with hello, and then it's going to say, how are you doing? So if we hit stop and then we go into the script, we can continue this chain of print statements if we want to. We can go and hit enter, and then we can write another print statement by saying print, open parentheses, double quotations, and then I can say, I'm doing very well, exclamation mark. So now we have 3 print statements, and you can continue going down the script editor and just keep adding more and more print statements if you want to do that. Because you can make this as long as you want to. Like you have the power to make as many print statements as you want. Like if we go back into the game and hit play, then as you can see in the output, it's going to display the 3 print messages that we just created. Now, you don't have to worry about the syntax for right now. That's going to be explained in a future episode. But what I want you to do is I literally want you to type exactly what I'm typing here so that you get the feel for knowing how to implement this stuff inside of Roblox Studio, and so that you're getting the experience alongside me as we go through these scripting episodes. So that's basically going to be it for this episode. What I want you to do for today's learning objective is to continue continue this story of like, you know, these 3 print statements, you could just continue down here by writing another print statement. Or if you want, you can delete all of these print statements and write your own story or whatever it is you want to create. So you can just delete the entire thing and then you can start back from square one if you want to. It's really up to you with what you want to do. Now, after you do this, what I encourage you to do is take your print statements, go down to the comment section of this video, and then paste it so that other viewers can see your poem or your message or whatever it is that you're comfortable sharing to everybody else, because I just think it would be very fun to see what everybody's doing for these challenges. So go ahead and do that once you finish with this learning objective. And one more thing before we end off this video. If you get stuck at any point throughout this tutorial guide, I have a Discord server which you can go into to ask questions and get help for your scripts if you want through the link in the description. So if you're interested, then feel free to join my Discord server too.
So let's make a conversation. Hello. Yeah, I'll start from the beginning. Hello. Stranger. Wait a minute. Will that work? Wait. Okay. I think that looks good. Yeah, okay. Oh my god, wait, I forgot this. Stevis. Okay, my name is Stevis. Print. Stranger, hello. Stranger, what is your name, young man? Bob. My name is Bob. What about you, stranger? Stranger, I'm the owner of this game. My name is Stevis. So let's see if this works. Hello. What is your name, young man? My name is Bob. What about you, stranger? S- Um, I'm the owner of the game. My name is Stevis. It's nice to meet you, Stevis. I'll see you around. Okay, okay. That's pretty cool, I can't lie. You could actually, like, write stuff. So, basically, printing is for writing things in the output, and, like, whatever you write, it just pops up in the output, and you could, like, see stuff, I guess. Okay, let's go to the next one.
Welcome back to my Roblox beginner scripting tutorial guide. My name is Braldev, and in this episode we'll be discussing about data types. So in the last episode we were able to create a script for the first time and also add some stuff inside of our script inside of this script editor. But now that we've gotten that taken care of, I want to introduce to you a very fundamental concept in scripting that is basically going to be part of our scripting arsenal, I guess if you want to call it. That we're going to be using throughout the entirety of this tutorial guide, and that is what's called data types. So I want you to imagine this. If we were to, let's say, change some properties inside of one of these parts that I created in the first episode, so I'm going to select this part right here. If we go on the right side, we can see it's highlighted in the Explorer, and it's also showing the properties for this part in the properties window. When we're looking at these properties that are on the left side here, these are the names of the properties that we can modify. And what's shown on the right side is the value of these properties. So when we're working with changing these values, there can be different data types depending on what the property is. So for example, this brick color takes in a color value. So if I select this, and if I were to change the color of this to something different, we're essentially changing the brick color value or the brick color data type for this property. And there's other data types here like cast shadow that has a check mark that shows whether this property is turned on or if this property is turned off. If I click on it, then it's going to be turned off. And there's other ones like transparency, which is a number data type. So if I were to select this, then we can use the slider to basically move this value from 0 to 1 as the max for this property. And if we were to make it go backwards this way, then it's going to make it go back to 0. So as you saw with this transparency property, it slowly makes it more and more invisible as we make it go further down the line. But if we make it go back down here to 0, then we can see this part fully opaque. So now that we understand that, these properties can have multitudes of different data types that we can use when we're changing properties. But not only that, it also applies to our scripts that we're going to be writing inside of Roblox Studio to use different data types. And if every single property was restricted to just one data type, then we simply just wouldn't have a game, because if every single one of these properties were the same data type, then it would give us a lot of restrictions to what we can change and what we cannot change, which is why it's important to understand these different data types and when to use certain data types. So now that we understand that, let's go back to our scripts that we created in the last episode. So what I'm going to do is go to the Explorer and then double click on our script. So now that we're here inside of the script, what I'm going to do is drop 2 lines by hitting enter twice. And now I'm going to introduce to you 3 basic data types that we're going to have to know for the rest of this tutorial guide. And the first one is called a Boolean value. So now that we're here inside of the script, what I'm going to do is drop 2 lines. So I'm going to hit the enter key twice, and I'm going to make another print statement. So I'm going to write in all lowercase, print, just like this, and then have...
So
have the open parentheses right over here. Now, I'm not going to add in the double quotations just yet, and I'm going to tell you why a little bit later. So right now, we just have the open parentheses, and what we're going to put inside of here is the first data type that I want you to understand, and that is a Boolean. Now, a Boolean is basically a data type that gives one value or the other. So with this data type, there's only two possible values that can come out of this data type, which is either true or either false. And one really big example I can give you for this is a check mark when we're changing a property of a specific part. So if I were to select this, and we have the property known as cast shadow, this is a check mark that can either only be one or two values. It can either be turned on, like it can be true, but if we select it, then it can be false or it's off. So that's essentially what the Boolean data type is, and we can show this by typing in all lowercase true. And we can see that Roblox highlighted this in yellow to indicate that this is a Boolean value. And we can do the same thing with the other value. So if we drop a line and then write print, open parentheses, and we write false, then these are Boolean values. So it can either be true or it can either be false.
Okay. So we have to get rid of this. I don't understand why we have to get rid of it, but so true. Is it lowercase? Oh yeah, okay, it's all lowercase. True. Green. And then false is gonna be red, I think. Lowercase. False. Oh, it's green as well, but okay. So I think because he's on dark mode, that's why his is yellow, but mine is green. So green means booleans. Okay. Yeah, I want to see how do you. I know most scripters write notes in their scripts. How to write comments in Roblox scripts. Okay. So like this, okay. How do I Boolean data type. Okay. Do I have to end it off with this as well? Or yeah, I guess. I might as well just continue now, so let's just continue without the face
And
mask.
this is going to be very important later down the line when we're going to be using Boolean values inside of our scripts. So that's the first data type. But the next one I'm going to introduce to you is a number. So I'm going to drop 2 lines down here, write another print statement, have the open parentheses, and I don't think I need to explain what a number is. I think it's pretty self-explanatory. But in terms of the size of the number we can use, it kind of is limitless. Unless your Roblox game literally does crash because of how big these numbers.
I think I could get my face cam back up. Bro, it's not even done.
Can get. You can basically put down a number that's super small, or you can put down a number that's super big. So in this example, what I'm going to do is put down a number of, let's say, 100, just like this. Then as you can see, this number is yellow, but it's not in bold. So that's how you know that this is a number. Now what I can do is drop another line, make another print statement with the open parentheses, and we can have a negative value as well, indicated by a dash symbol.
Yeah, I could not.
Before we add a number to it. So if we add 100, then this is negative 100, while this is positive 100. And both of these are whole numbers. Another thing we can do is have decimal numbers. So if I were to drop a line down here, make another print statement, then what we can put down here is a decimal number indicated by a dot or a period. So what I'm going to say is 100 dot, and then some other number after this, like 50, it's going to be 100.50, which is going to be our decimal number. And so these are some of the ways we can create numbers inside of our scripts that's going to be very important.
Okay, numbers. Okay. String data type. Okay. Printing. Boolean data type. Number. Data type. So we could write print. Print negative 100. Make array. Print 100.052.
Okay. Later down the line. And finally, I'm going to introduce to you the last data type. So I'm going to write a print statement down here. So I'm going to say in all lowercase, print, and then inside of here, I'm going to show you what the last data type is. And that's called a string. Now, we've actually worked with strings in the past, conveniently in the last episode. It's indicated by this up here in double quotations. Now, a string is basically it's a list of characters or words or sentences or however you want to describe it, all contained inside of one data type, which has two quotations. So it's going to have one at the beginning and then one at the end. So this basically shows us that this is a string that comprises of a sentence full of characters and words and all these other sorts of things. So we can create another string down here by having double quotations like this, and then we can write down whatever it is we want inside of these strings. So we can say this is a string, just like this. Now what's interesting about strings is that we can actually represent strings with either double quotations, or we can even have single quotations as well, and they will both be the string data type. So if I were to drop a line down here, make a print statement, open and close parentheses.
Okay. So this one's a boolean, this one is numbers, and this one is gonna be strings. String data type. Strings have to have these quotation marks. Okay. This is string data type. Okay. Right. This is also string. Bro, AI knows what I'm gonna say. Like, it legit knows everything I'm gonna say. Data type. Okay.
Is we can actually put in single quotations just like this, and we can write the same thing. This is a string, period. So this is the string data type right here that we've actually used in the last episode. We just didn't confirm that this is a string data type now that I was able to introduce to you what data types are inside of this episode. So that's the basics of understanding data types, and this is going to be very helpful for us later down the line as we continue to build up our skills in scripting. So for today's learning objective, what I want you to do is experiment more with these data types by either printing more true statements or printing false statements, or even printing more numbers. You can experiment with these numbers because there's a lot you can do with numbers. There's only so many numbers you can print. And I also want you to experiment more with strings if you haven't already. And even with single quotations as well. So once you do that, go down to the comments and paste whatever you feel comfortable sharing so that other people can see what you've been doing in these learning objective challenges. So with that being said, that's going to be it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed.
Okay, I want to see something. So, without the quotations, does it print the string? Like, does it print the other data types inside the game? Oh, wait, it actually does. Wait. Okay, so I want to try making like a conversation with those data types as well. So, let's do. Alright, first, let's do print. Why is my thing kind of print? Oh, yeah, that's good. Print hello. Print. Do you? False. The price is only print 39.99. Hello ma'am, are you interested in buying this new perfume? False. The price is only $39.99. Oh wow. So such a good price. For that smells this great. Sorry. Okay, let's see. Let's see. Hello ma'am, are you interested in buying this new perfume? False. Okay. The price is only $39.99. Oh wow, such a good price for a perfume that smells this great. So are you interested in this? True. Okay. I pretty much just blended up everything and then made it into like one conversation. I can't lie. It's pretty.
Enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. Take care.
I'm not even tired.
When playing games on PC, do you ever wonder if someone had a clip with you in it? Download Metal, then go to Albums, Clips You're In, and connect to...
Welcome back to my Roblox beginner scripting tutorial series. My name is Braldev, and in this episode we'll be discussing about div types. So again, this is the next coding fundamental concept that we need to know for scripting to become a better scripter. Now what we're going to do for this episode is actually create a new script so that descriptor. Now what we're going to do for this episode is actually create a new script so that we can organize our scripts when we go further down the line with this tutorial guide. Because if we were to go back to the scripts that we've been making throughout this tutorial, it can get very lengthy very fast if we used the same script throughout the entire tutorial guide. So what I'm actually going to do is go back to our game, and I'm going to go to the right side of the workspace, and I'm going to go down to this property here that says enabled. So I'm actually going to uncheck this property so that when the game runs, so if I hit play, then whatever we put inside of the script isn't going to run in the output because it's now disabled, so the script isn't going to fire when we join into the game. And so that is a property that you might find to be useful if you were...
I also want to name the script if I'm gonna... So we're making more scripts. I call this printing slash data types. Printing slash printing slash data types. Okay, it's disabled, so when I click this, nothing's gonna pop up now. The output, right? It's disabled. Yeah, nothing pops up besides like the basic things, I think. So yeah.
To have scripts that you don't want to execute when the game runs inside of Studio or just in the game in general. So now what I'm going to do is hit stop, and now we want to create a new script for this episode. And to make this more organized, what I'm going to do is actually rename the script on the right side here.
Right,
so I'm going to right click on the script, and I'm going to hit this button that says rename, and it's going to highlight the name right here. So what we can do is basically just delete this, and we can insert a new name here. So I'm going to rename this to printing data types, just like this, and I'm going to hit enter. It doesn't matter what you call it, but I'm just going to call it printing data types. And so now we can create a new script. So I'm going to click on the plus sign next to workspace, and I'm going to search up script just like this, and I'm going to insert a regular script just like this. So I'm also going to click on the script, right click it, and I'm going to rename this one to the name of this episode, which is going to be variables. So now that we have that taken care of, I'm just going to zoom.
Variables, so printing scripts. You said if you click F2 you could also rename. I don't know, that didn't really work, but okay. Variables.
Zoom in just a little bit so you can see it better. And I'm also going to X out of our previous script inside of the script editor like this. And now we should be at the normal game and also have the variables tab right up here. So now that we have this taken care of, let me introduce to you what a variable is. So a variable is basically a reference to another value. Now that's the simplest explanation I can give. So when we have a name that references a value, then we can use that name that we created that basically acts as the value that we're referencing with the name that we created. Now, it may seem kind of confusing to you at first, but I want to write this inside of our script so that I can help you understand this concept better. So what I'm going to do is select this print statement, and I'm going to delete it since we don't need it. Now, what I want you to do is copy exactly what I type because it may be confusing to you at first. So what I want you to do in all lowercase is type in local, and then what we're going to put here is a random variable name, and it doesn't matter what we call this variable name. So I'm just going to say my variable like this, and I'm going to put in an equal sign, and I'm going to set this equal to a random data type value that we worked with in the last episode. So I'm just going to say that this is 100.
Okay. So you made a variable, so you have to write local. I have no clue what that does, but local. Then let's call local variable. I remember in one of his episodes before, I don't remember which one it was, but he was talking about camel casing. So I'm gonna do that as well. So local variable equals hello, and camel casing is basically the first word is lowercase, and the other words that come, the first letter of the word is uppercase. So local variable x equals 100.
Now, looking at this, you might be confused, like, what does this all mean?
Wait,
Well,
I can't see
to
it, bro.
basically understand what is happening here, we
I
don't need
can't
to
pause
worry
it,
about
wait.
what this
Okay. Variables without the local keyword will become global, which isn't commonly used and is not recommended.
To basically understand what is happening here, we don't need to worry about what this local variable is right now. I'm going to explain this in a future episode. But basically what we have going on here is 3 components that make up this variable. So what's going on over here is this is a name that I came up with, and this variable name can be whatever name we want the variable to be. As long as we can reference it later inside of the script, then it doesn't matter what we call this. And then we have an equal sign here that basically says that we've now created a new variable that is set equal to whatever value is on the right side here, which is going to be 100. So what's interesting about this is if we drop a line down here and we make a print statement, so we write down print and then have the open parentheses, and we put down our new variable name that we created. So we say my variable like this, then you might expect in the output to print my variable or something similar to that. But no, you might actually be surprised. If we go into the game, hit test and hit play, then what we should see in the output is actually the number 100.
Wait a minute. Okay, let me try. Basically, okay, so this is the variable, and then he printed the variable. So variable x. $100. Okay. And wait, if I change the variable, it should change that, I think, as well. So let's make this 1,000. Let's test. Yep, it worked. 1,000 as well. Okay.
So if I click on this and refer back to our script that we created, it's printing out my variable. But why did it print 100? It printed 100 because my variable is simply a reference to the number 100 as we specified here when we created this variable. And so this is what I'm talking about when we're having a variable refer to a different data type value.
Okay, so basically the variable like stores a value. So like what he did was he wrote 100 and it became the 100. It's basically the name of the variable. Like the variable is the name of the value. Okay.
This is really powerful to know. And it's going to be one of the most important concepts to understand when we do create variables that reference other values. Now, why do we need to know this? Well, if we were to hit stop so that we're out of playtest mode, and if I were to go back into the script, I want you to imagine that we have a scenario that if I were to make a print statement like this and then print 5, drop a line down here, and if I were to print 5 again just like this and drop a line, and if I were to print 5 once again just like this, then it's going to be kind of repetitive. And what if we wanted to change all of these values? Then we would have to go back and change the value for each single one of these numbers. But instead, what if we had an easier way to do this And that would simply just be replacing this data type with a variable that is referencing a value. So all we need to do is change this value, and it's going to change everything else that is going to be inside of this print statement that uses the variable that we just created. So if I were to basically copy this code right here, so if I were to select this and then right click, hit copy, and then if I were to drop a line down here and I were to right click on this and then hit paste, then it's going to paste the same line that we just had that we copied. And I'm going to do the same thing down here by hitting enter and then hitting paste just like this. So I'm also going to delete these lines right here so that it's not going to get in the way of our script. So when we have our variable be like this, we go into the game, hit play, then what we should see in the output is 100 being printed 3 different times because it's using the same variable that's referencing this.
Okay, let's try this out as well. So, okay, so instead of printing that 3 times, you could just pop it up. Pop this 3 times and you could just change that and stuff. So yeah, now if I print this, it should write variable, it should write, oh no, I accidentally added something by accident. So yeah, oh, yeah. Let's get rid of this. Yeah. Local variable 100, and it should print 100 3 times. Yeah,
data type of 100. If we hit stop and we go back into our script and then change this one value to, let's say, 50, then we go back into the game and hit play, then what we should see in the output is 50 being printed every single time. We only had to change this one value to affect all 3 of these print statements rather than having to change each individual print statement to change that one value. That's a very basic way of how I can explain how variables work inside Studio, and this is going to be very important for us to understand later down the line. Now, there's a certain naming convention that I would like you to use, and that's basically how we write these variables. So usually what I do is what's called camel case. So I would basically have the first letter of the first word be in lowercase, and then have the first letter of every other word be in uppercase, while the rest of it is just in lowercase. So if I were to extend this even further, I could say my variable is 50, just like this. This is how we would create the variable. Now, as you can see down here, these print statements are throwing an error saying unknown global my variable, and that's because we no longer have a variable that we created called my variable is 50. So what we need to do is update these variables to say my variable is 50. And as you can see, Roblox is recommending us to use this variable right here. So if we want to complete this, rather than type the whole thing out, we can just type in tab, and Roblox is going to add this in for us. And we can do the same thing here as well. So if we select this and say is 50, then we can just hit tab and Roblox is going to correct it for us. So is 50, and then just like that, we have our variable taken care of. So if we hit play, then we can still see that the output is printing the value 50 after referencing our variable, my variable is 50. So that's the basics of using variables inside of your scripts. What I want you to do for today's learning objective is to create more variables and set them equal to different data types. So it doesn't have to just be numbers. It can also be booleans, and it can also be strings. So I want you to have these references down and be able to print them inside of the output right here, and be able to make print statements to print them effectively so we can show them inside of the output. So I want you to try and do that for this learning objective, and once you do, I want you to go down to the comment section and show what you did for this challenge, since I do look at all my comments for my videos, so it would be very nice to see what you're doing for this episode as we go through this tutorial guide. So that's pretty much going to be it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next episode.
Okay, let's quickly do this. I have to go in a bit because I have to make my brother some food. So local variable x, okay. So let me lock it. I gotta do this before my phone runs out of thing. These are all variables. So local, okay, so local variable String. Okay, let's start off with string. Local variable string equals hello. String print. Let's print variable string. So wait, I want to test something. So if I write this string, if I print my variable and it says hello, okay, hello. So now if I change it up, that string should change, right? Right, hello, like that, hello or something, right? Okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah, turns to hello. Okay, so hello. I'll print this 3 times again. Print variable. Local variable. About to run out of space soon on my phone. Local variable number was on 150. I was on 2 seconds. Print variable number. That's all lowercase. Print. I ran out of space, bro, on my phone. Okay, so I ran out of space, but I'll still continue this until the end. Number. Let's print this again. Local variable. Oh my god, I wrote it wrong. Variable boolean. True. I'll make 2 for this one. Local boolean equals false. Print variable boolean 1. Print boolean 2. Okay, I think that's everything. Let's see. So wait, let me check. Let me double check real quick. Let me make some notes here. Variable using string. Variable using numbers. This one's variables. Booleans. Okay, let's test if this works. Wait, why does it say no? Hello, 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 hello. 150? No. It's spelled right. Variable Boolean. Oh no, oh, I see a mistake. It's not spelled right, yeah. Okay, oh, I think I'll close this. That should work now. Yeah, okay, everything's working. Anyways, thank you for watching my first devlog. I'm planning to make another one tomorrow, and I might continue this, but I'm not really sure like if I'll continue doing more today, because I do have training. So yeah, I'm gonna go anyways. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye. It's currently 1 a.m. It's taking a lot longer to edit. I thought I could do another one today, but yeah, it's taking a lot longer to edit. So I'll get one tomorrow. So I'll see you guys tomorrow.